DC, this offseason is on fire and Washington is making moves. A Super Bowl pedigree running back might be on the way to completely free up the most dangerous quarterback in the NFC. But that's not all. There's a 27-year-old under-the-radar cornerback ready to lock down the hole nobody wants to admit exists in the secondary. And to top it off, an ESPN analyst just leaked that the Commanders are about to steal an explosive receiver from a direct NFC contender. 3 moves, 1 mission, 0 margin for error. Stick around till the end. Hit subscribe, smash that like button. Burgundy and gold does not wait. News 1, Commanders projected to win the bidding war for Kenneth Walker III. Listen, when Matt Harmon from Yahoo Sports says the Commanders are about to go all in for Kenneth Walker III, that is not just some random hot take. That is an analyst who understands the scheme, understands what Washington needs, and understands exactly what Jayden Daniels needs to be fully unleashed in 2026. And when you really sit with that, Jayden Daniels plus Kenneth Walker III in the same backfield, that is the kind of combo that keeps defensive coordinators all over the NFC up at night. First, why is Walker even available? The Seattle Seahawks did not hit him with the franchise tag, which should not shock anyone who knows how John Schneider operates. Seattle has to think about extending Jackson Smith and Jigba. They have to manage their cap smart, and a running back, no matter how dominant, does not really fit the roster-building model the Hawks have been living by. So Walker hits the open market, and fam, the market for this dude could be absolutely ruthless in terms of competition. Now, what are the projections on the contract? We're talking about a 4-year deal worth $36.04 million. Which averages out to $9.01 million per season. That is real money, no lie. But in the context of what Walker brings to the table, and especially in the context of what the Commanders need, that deal is totally defensible. If Adam Peters is sitting in that chair, this is the kind of contract you sign without blinking. And here is the part that really gets me hyped. New offensive coordinator David Blau has already said it publicly. The Commanders need a tone setter in the backfield. That is not some secret code, fam. That is Blau telling the whole world that Jackery Krosky Merritt, as promising as that player is, cannot be the only answer in the backfield when it is time to establish the run in critical moments. And Krosky Merritt showed plenty of good stuff as a rookie. Nobody's throwing that away. But the gap between a promising back and a Super Bowl proven back is enormous. Because that is exactly what Walker is right now. This was a core piece of the Seahawks Super Bowl run. Not some role player, not a backup who got lucky, a running back who proved that the offense can lean on that player when the team needs it most. And now that experience, that confidence, that Super Bowl chip on the shoulder is headed to Washington from someone who already knows exactly what it feels like to win the biggest championship in football. Tactically, let's talk about what Walker adds to Blau's system. Harmon nailed it. I think it is going to be more of a traditional NFL offense, a lot more under-center looks, play-action shots over the middle of the field. And that is exactly where Walker cooks. The burst when the run gets to the second level, the ability to rack up yards after contact that no ordinary linebacker can handle. That is the stuff that makes play-action legit. Defenses have to respect the run game, and that opens up the field for Jayden Daniels to do exactly what that quarterback does best. Think about it this way. When there's a back in the huddle that defenses have to respect for real, safeties cannot just drift toward the pass. Linebackers have to commit, and when that happens, Daniels gets the windows needed to hit Terry McLaurin deep, to find the tight ends up the seam, to make the reads that turn this player into one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the league when fully healthy. And just picture that 2-minute drill with Walker out there. Just picture it. Now, the real question is whether Peters is willing to pay that price. Because let's be straight, $9 million per year for a running back is a serious investment at a position a lot of general managers are avoiding. But here is the difference. Peters is not building for average. Peters is building to win, and when Jayden Daniels is under center, when the right coaching structure is finally in place, and when there is enough cap space to do this without wrecking the team's future, when is a better time than right now? This is the kind of move that tells the whole league that Washington is not messing around, that the 5-12 record in 2025 was a fluke, that the Daniels injuries were the real turning point, and that when this team is fully healthy and fully built out, nobody in the NFC wants any part of these Commanders, and that, fam, is exactly the kind of energy needed rolling into 2026. Okay, bro, I'd hold up, because what comes next is all about the other side of the ball, and it is a name a lot of folks are not even thinking about. News 2, Alante Taylor, the under-the-radar target who could be the long-term answer in the CB room. Fam, let's talk about the elephant in the room that a lot of the Commanders' offseason coverage is dancing around. Cornerback is in a spot of real uncertainty right now. They cut loose Marshawn Lattimore, and yeah, that was the right call. That experiment did not hit like it was supposed to, but now there is a hole that has to be filled, and if the wrong player gets plugged into that spot, it is going to cost this team games. So when Alante Taylor's name starts popping up in reports, and once there is a real look at what that player brings, this gets a lot more exciting than expected. Taylor made it official this week, jumped on social media, posted a goodbye to the Saints, thanked New Orleans for everything, and basically confirmed it is time for a new home, and Washington, sitting on top 5 cap space, instantly becomes one of the most attractive landing spots out there. Why Taylor specifically? Because this is exactly the mold defensive coordinator Durante Jones has been asking for all offseason: alignment, versatility. Jones wants corners who can line up all over, who do not force constant substitutions that give quarterbacks a free read on the coverage. Taylor fits that template perfectly with 1,664 snaps in the slot and 1,597 snaps outside on the perimeter across 4 NFL seasons. That is real versatility, not just something a coach throws on a scouting report. Now the measurables. Taylor stands at 6 feet, weighs 200 pounds, and is 27 years old. That is the prototype corner in a league that keeps chasing younger and faster, which is literally what Adam Peters said this roster needs to become. We're not talking about some 32-year-old veteran on the downslope. This is a player right in the developmental peak with 4 seasons of league experience, coming off arguably the best year of that career in 2025. 2 picks, 6 pass breakups, and a level of compete in the slot the very few corners in this free agent class can match. And that connection with Durante Jones is real, fam. Jeff Okudah has that connection too and has been mentioned as a possible target. But right now, Taylor just feels like the cleaner, more complete fit. Now look at what Taylor does for the Commanders' cornerback room structurally. Right now, Mike Sainristil and Trey Amos are the young pieces in that unit. Sainristil flashed a lot as a rookie, but that room needs someone with enough experience to be the anchor, the one who shows Sainristil and Amos how this is supposed to look at a professional level. Taylor can be that presence. And the beauty of the situation is that bringing Taylor in does not block anything. It does not block taking a corner in the first couple of rounds in the draft. It does not block another veteran signing if the right opportunity pops up. It is additive, not restrictive. Projected cost, 3 years, somewhere between $45 and $50 million. So you're looking at roughly $15 million per year for a 27-year-old corner coming off a career season. In this cornerback market where true top-tier guys can push $20 million or more per season, that is legit value. It is the kind of deal Peters can pull off without choking the long-term cap while giving Jones a real piece to build around in the secondary. And there is another layer to this move that hits beyond the X's and O's. This is exactly the kind of target Adam Peters and this front office are becoming known for. They are not chasing the loudest name on the market that eats up half the cap. They are hunting the right player at the right price for the right role. Taylor is that kind of signing under the radar for the national media, but a real tangible difference maker for the team that lands that signature. Keep your eye on this name, fam. Alante Taylor could end up being one of those signings that has people saying 2 years from now, how was nobody talking about this player before Washington got that deal done? Because that is the caliber of player on the table here. Bro, if you are still here, hit that like. And fam, jump in the comments. Would you sign Taylor or would you rather swing for someone else? All right. We already hit on RBs. We already hit on corners. But fam, there is one more name floating around in the reports, and it is directly tied to the conversation about weapons for Jaden Daniels with a storyline that is way too good to ignore. News 3, Rashid Shaheed. The $40 million prediction to steal a playmaker from an NFC contender. Yo, listen. When Dan Graziano from ESPN drops a free agency prediction, you do not just shrug it off. Not because that analyst is always right, nobody is always right, but because Graziano has access, has sources, and when the call is that the Commanders are going to sign Rashid Shaheed on a 3-year, $40 million deal, that is something you have to dig into first. Context on Shaheed. This player split the 2025 season between the Saints and the Seahawks and made an impact that goes way beyond a box score. In the regular season, Shaheed pulled in 59 catches for 687 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is solid. Not WR1 carry the franchise numbers, but nowhere near journeyman territory either. The real juice, though, is on special teams. 23 punt returns for 339 yards and 1 touchdown. Plus 15 kickoff returns for 447 yards and another touchdown. That is a player who can flip field position and literally create points out of nothing. And here is the storyline piece that makes tactical sense. The Commanders need more speed and more pure playmaking in the receiver room. And fam, the return game. How long have Commanders fans been waiting for a legit returner? Someone who makes the kicking team nervous when that player is back there? Shaheed is that type. Now, is $40 million over 3 years the right number? Honestly, that is around $13 million per year. And in this market for a receiver with that profile, especially one coming off a Super Bowl run with Seattle, with proof that playoff lights do not shrink the moment see, that is not crazy at all. It is not the splashiest contract in free agency. It does not eat up so much cap that it blocks all the other moves that have to get done. It is exactly the kind of value add a team like Washington, multiple needs, plenty of cap space, can handle without stress. And there is another angle not getting enough attention. The fact that Shaheed is coming off a Super Bowl win with the Seahawks gives this receiver room, something it does not have right now. A player who has already walked through the postseason grind and knows what it takes to close games when the stakes are highest. That does not show up in the stat line, fam. But anyone who really understands ball knows that experience has real weight in a locker room. Graziano also pointed out the teams who strike out trying to land Christian Pierce, the most coveted wide receiver on the market, could end up viewing Shaheed as a legitimately attractive alternative at a much lower price point. That alone tells you everything about the value proposition here. This is not some consolation plan B. This is a real option that plenty of teams are going to circle once the market opens up. And if the Commanders land Shaheed and still make another move at wide receiver on top of that, bro, that receiver room starts looking seriously dangerous. Do I sign Shaheed if I am Adam Peters? Here's the thought process. If the price really is in that range, if 3 years and $40 million gets it done, and the other top priorities, edge, corner, that guard spot, are covered, then yes, a receiver with that kind of speed, that versatility, that Super Bowl pedigree at that price, on a roster that needs exactly those traits, that is a no-brainer. Fam, bro, do you realize what is lining up here? The Washington Commanders have the cap space, have the quarterback, have the coaching staff, and now free agency is serving up exactly what this roster needs on a silver platter. Kenneth Walker III to establish the run game and give Jaden Daniels the backfield support that quarterback deserves. Alante Taylor to stabilize the cornerback situation with a young, versatile, proven competitor, and Rashid Shaheed to inject explosiveness and real special teams impact into an offense that is being built to win right now. Nobody knows exactly how this all ends. Nothing is real until the ink hits the contract. But what is clear is that this is the most exciting offseason Commanders fans have had in a long, long time, and that, fam, is worth celebrating because it means the work Dan Quinn and Adam Peters have been putting in is actually moving the needle in the right direction. The tampering window opens on March 9th. Free agency officially kicks off on March 13th, and this channel is going to be right here with you, breaking down every signing, every rumor, every move this team makes. So if you are not subscribed yet, bro, what are you doing? Hit that button right now, turn on the bell, and do not miss a single update from this historic Washington Commanders offseason. Fam, drop it in the comments. Which of these 3 signings gets you the most hyped, Walker, Taylor, or Shaheed? And what is your bold prediction for this offseason? Every comment gets read. HTT, hail to the team.